Factorising single brackets. So when we factorise, what we are essentially doing is finding the highest common factor between two or more terms. So let's look at this one here. Factorise 6x plus 12y. We need to work out the highest common factor between 6x and 12y. Let's look at the numbers first. 6 and 12. What is the highest common factor between 6 and 12? Well, that is going to be 6. So we're going to write 6 outside our brackets. And now let's look at the letters, so the x and y. Do they have a highest common factor? No, they don't. So between 6x and 12y, the highest common factor is 6. Then we're going to put our opening brackets. So 6 times by what makes 6x? That's going to be x. And then 6 times by what makes 12y? And that's going to be 2y. Now let's look at this one here. Factorise 3x plus 12. Highest common factor between 3x and 12 is 3. So 3 is on the outside because 3 is in the 3 times tables and 12 is also in the 3 times tables. And then opening brackets, 3 times by what makes 3x? That's x. And 3 times by what makes 12? And that's going to be positive 4. Okay, let's look at this one here. Factorise 4c plus 16. The highest common factor between 4c and 16 is going to be 4. Opening brackets, 4 times by what makes 4c? That's c. And 4 times by what makes 16? And that's positive 4. Okay, let's look at this one here. Factorise 8f squared plus 24mz. Let's look at the numbers. So the highest common factor between 8 and 24 is 8. Let's look at the letters now. Do they have any letters in common with each other? No, they don't. So in this instance here, our highest common factor between these two is just 8. Opening brackets, 8 times by what makes 8f squared? That's going to be f squared. 8 times by what makes 24? That's going to be 3. And then because we have mz, we have to times by 3 mz. Okay, let's look at this one here. Factorise 18a cubed minus 9a squared b. So let's look at the numbers first. 18 and 9, what's the highest common factor between them? That's going to be 9. Now let's look at the letters. Do they have any letters in common? Yep, they have an A in common. And how many times? 2 A's in common between both of them. 18a cubed has an extra A because a cubed is the same thing as A times by A times by A. So they have 2 A's in common. So it's going to be 9a squared on the outside. 9a squared times by what makes 18, 8a cubed. So 9 times by 2 makes 18. And we have to times by another a to get that a cubed. 9 times by, well, 9a squared times by what makes negative 9a squared b. So to get from positive 9 to negative 9, you have to times by negative 1. So minus 1. And then a squared is the same, so don't need to add any extra a's, but then we do need to times by a b at the end. Alternatively, we could write it as this. So instead of writing minus 1, just put minus b.